This video is brought to you by Craven's Comic Books and Collectibles. Check out their weekly live show, auction, and sale at facebook.com/Craven's Comics every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can check out their inventory at cravenscomics.com. Craven's Comics, for the comics you crave.
That is a very pretty bum on Gizmo there in that photo. That's
Did you hear that?
you have a pretty bum.
Did you hear that? That tail flicking is kind of telling you everything, eh?
Yeah, you're right.
That's what you think's of that.
Yeah, I don't give a crap about that. Jeez. Oh my God. But of course, as I mentioned, you've been writing on a number of shows since last we spoke with you. And I gotta say, my favorite, just for the entertainment factor, has got to be Overlord and the Underwoods, created by Anthony Q. Farrell and Ryan Wiesbrook. So basically, tell us what Overlord and the Underwoods is all about.
So Overlord in the Underwoods is about a supervillain in witness protection. And the idea is he's the second worst supervillain in the universe. And he has to stay with his distant family who are like the nicest family. It's like Alf with Darth Vader.
Yeah, I had a vibe from it that it was like one of the villains from the Power Rangers shows. Just the way that he looks. He's all arms and hands when he talks. So it was very much like old Power Rangers episodes.
That's true. His suit is awesome in real life, by the way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It looks good. That's I was just impressed at how flexible and movable it is. Just because, it looks bulky at first when you first, if you're not, you don't see the movement. And then when you see it move, you're like, oh, okay, there's some good, because that was something I know that people have complained about with in the past projects, with armor like that it can be a little too much to move into, to act in. But not here. It's all, like as Andrew said, all arms and legs.
Yep. And, so they designed it really well. I think I heard rumors of there being a fan in it. I'm not sure. Or they were fanning him down. One or the other, heard it through the grapevine. But the great thing is that Troy, who plays Overlord, he's a stunt person. He does parkour. He's a dancer. So he's able to really bring that physical comedy and just the stuff that he does is just bonkers.
Does that make it easier for you guys, to be writing for the character, knowing that you have that to work with, that he can take what you're doing and then elevate it through his performance?
I mean, when we wrote it, we didn't know who was going to play Overlord,
right? So
we didn't factor that in. But he just found every moment to be as physically funny as possible because he's just really great at that. And I'm sure season 2 we're gonna make him do ridiculous things if there is one. Fingers crossed.
Oh man,
you hear that, Troy?
Yeah.
But it's got to be so much fun putting words in that character's mouth though too, because it's just he's always pontificating. So
he's so fun to write. The whole show is just fun to write for. And there's a lot of rooms where you're pitching jokes at it's the end of the day and they're so ridiculous, it's never going to make it in the show. But with Overlord, we have so many 6 p.m. jokes. One of my favorites is in the camping episode where everything is named Jerry. And that was I think it was we were staying late, everybody was tired, and we're like, what if everything's named Jerry? And that made it in. I can't believe it made it in.
Well, sometimes that's what it takes, right? Like the zaniness, and then it plays off, or pays off, I should say, through what's going on. Like you guys get that awesomeness that comes out, and I love that. I love that you guys are getting those 6 p.m. jokes in there. Like that's not because a lot of shows, obviously, like you said, they don't get to do that.
Yeah,
they don't get to play
with good reason. It doesn't fit most shows. But no, our writing room is just hilarious. It's so enjoyable to work on because I'm just sitting there all day laughing. It's so much fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, the one trend that I've noticed, you've been writing for very different shows with Overlord and the Underwoods, the Parker Andersons, Amelia Parker, and with Take Note is
Mm-hmm.
that the one through line in all of these shows is the strong family story.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something that you've really been attracted to in these past couple of years, is talking about the interactions between family life?
It's interesting that you say that because I hadn't actually noticed that. But you're absolutely right. I think, family is so interesting because relationships among families are so complicated. You can go from wanting to just to totally feeling so much love for your siblings, and it's
Mm-hmm.
so fun to explore. There's so much comedy. I get to bring in a lot of jokes that are about my family, such as Jim's short shorts, which is a true story. My dad had these very short shorts, and he has a picture of it on the wall, and yeah, and that exists. But yeah, family's so strong. But the interesting thing about writing ensemble shows, something they say is that every ensemble is a family. There's always somebody who's the mom and the dad, and there's people who act like siblings, and there's this and that. Um, so in a way, almost every show is about a family.
In a way, yes, but this ones are actually like core family relations as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to the family that you find among friends and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to see the different ways that we can dissect a family in the shows that you've been getting to write on. And of course, two of those shows, Anthony Q. Farrell has had a part in. I actually went to college with Anthony. Well,
What?
yeah, well, kind
Queens?
of. I was in the undergrad program when he was in the postgrad program at Humber. So we did a lot of stand-up shows together. We didn't actually share any classes. But yes,
Ah.
now it makes sense to Green for some reason. But
Yeah, well, I was just like,
Oh yeah, Anthony's great. Anthony's such a great showrunner. I mean, if you can work for anybody in this industry, you want to work for Anthony.
yeah, and he's got a pretty good history behind him as well as a writer. So that's always bringing that experience to his team. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to these virtual writers' rooms where you're spending most of the time, it's like you guys got the laptop there and everything like that. Does it have the same camaraderie as back pre-pandemic when people were all in the same room?
There's take and give, right? So on the one hand, we have more energy because we're not commuting. And we also aren't eating crackers and cookies all day because they'll put it on the table and then you do that all day. And then by the end of the day, you're like, my brain doesn't work for some reason. But definitely, you get used to it. And I know that there's some people who feel like they really, really hate Zoom rooms. I actually enjoy them. After the first couple of days, it felt like any other writing room, only my cat's there. And it also gives us the opportunity. Like I'm doing a show right now, and there's a writer that I really enjoy working with, but she lives in Vancouver. And normally I wouldn't be able to bring her in, but because we're doing Zoom rooms, I can bring her in. Take Note was an American show, but they were able to bring in Canadian writers because of Zoom.
That's awesome. It
is awesome.
It is the benefit of one of the few benefits of the pandemic has really given to workplaces in general, but especially creative ones like you're mentioning, like getting to work with people that you may not normally get to work with because you don't have to worry about distances or travels or anything like that. Technology can help occasionally, not always. Not always.
As our show proved just before Amanda came on.
Yes.
Definitely not always. We were 2/3 of our show were missing voices on the show.
I feel like for the majority of screenwriters, when they were like, you guys, you're gonna have to stay home. You're not gonna be able to leave your houses for a while. We were all like, oh no. What will I do?
What, you get to stay at home? Oh no, stay at home, play with my cat, write, do the things like
exactly.
Who doesn't want that?
Getting more game time, things like that.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm so addicted to Battlegrounds right now. It's not even funny.
Oh yeah.
I'm having dreams about Battlegrounds. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh, have you had a chance to check out Elden Ring?
No, not yet. Have you checked it out?
I haven't checked it out, but everybody that I hear from is like either, oh, this is really, really hard, or, oh, well, this freaking George R. Martin is just taking remnants of his past work and he stuffed it into the storyline of the game. That's the only two things I've heard, but it's always followed up by, but I can't stop playing. So
that feels like kind of like Dark Souls, eh? Where like everybody was like, this game is too difficult, but I just spent 14 hours playing it for some reason.
It's so hard, but it's so hard to put it down.
You know, what's funny is people were recommending it, and then I accidentally bought Darksiders. And I was like, this isn't that hard. What's everybody talking about?
What is Darksiders about? Is it about making ale? Like what
no, Darksiders, like side. It's just another hack and slash, but not as hard as Dark Souls.
No. But yeah, you know what? Sometimes, listen, we've all done it. We hear things and then we just misinterpret it. You know, like look at all the songs that we hear and we think we know what the lyrics are, and then you read them and you're like, well, I'm an idiot.
Oh yeah, I always thought CCR was singing about a bathroom on the right. So
that Katy Perry song about catching feels, I just found out it's about catching feels and not fish. I was like, this lady really loves fish. And then I was like, maybe the fish is a metaphor. Like there's plenty of fish in the sea. Like I was really trying to make that work.
Oh man. Yeah, that's quite a wow. That's quite a
yeah. Don't be afraid to catch fish.
That's right. Definitely don't be afraid to catch fish because you can feed your family with them. Definitely.
That's it.
Now
and in some stories they grant wishes. So
that is true. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Now, of course, with the Parker Andersons, you have been nominated for a Writers Guild of Canada award coming up in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, April, close to the end of April.
Oh, okay, so a good month and everything like that. This is not your first rodeo at the Writers Guild of Canada. You've been nominated before. Now, in this current time where we're on the third half of a pandemic, what do you think the award situation will be like? Is this going to be a completely virtual award ceremony still?
Yeah, I think it's going to be completely virtual, which is, I understand. I think I wouldn't even want to go to a party right now, but it's too bad because the WGC awards are actually great. It's a really good chance because we don't, other than your little rooms, you don't really get to meet a lot of people, and you sort of end up in these really tiny networks. And so at the WGC awards, you get to meet all of these people that you've heard of or are friends of friends and you never got to meet. It's great.
Nice.
That's also cool. The catering is really good.
See, that's the thing I miss about gatherings is the catering to these events. Yeah.
This is how I learn about new foods sometimes. You know, when you go to you go to an event, you go to a party, somebody decides they want to be adventurous with their cooking, and then you're like, oh, I've wanted to try this. Now I get to try it. Rent free. Like it's just boom.
Exactly.
I don't have to risk anything. I don't feel bad if I don't like it. And I didn't spend a lot of money on it. It's great. I'm all about the freebies.
I'm the same because I was at VIF and there was this party and everybody was like networking and schmoozing. So me and my sister and my brother-in-law did of course the appropriate thing. We sat next to the door of the kitchen. And then as people came out, we were just able to grab every hors d'oeuvre. Not all of the hors d'oeuvres, one of each, but we were able to try every hors d'oeuvre because sometimes they get around, you don't get to try one.
Well, there you go.
That's a pro move. That is a very pro move right there. That's how you know you go to a lot of events because you knew what to do there.
You get the full sampler. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
I'm gonna have to remember that. Yeah. Park yourself by
my Overlord interview. Weirdly enough, the thing I remember most of making Anthony laugh was actually telling him a story about how I go to the buffet.
Okay.
Which is, so when I was in school, they had this person come in and talk, and they were giving like a life lessons talk. And they were telling the story of somebody who had, all these glasses. They were filled with sand and pebbles and rocks. And they said, can you fit these all in this glass? And everybody said no, as he puts the rocks in and the pebbles fall over. As he puts the sand in and then the pebbles fall over. And then he goes, you got to put it in order. So first, first you put the big things and then you put the little things and they fill in the gaps and then you put the sand. I was like, that's interesting. So there was this Chinese buffet that would let you, so basically $5 for a container. And anything you could fit in there. So I was like, I see. So I went and I would get like the chicken balls first, all of the bulky things, and then I'd go backwards, and because the rice is at the front, right? That's how they get you. And then I'd put the rice on top, and it would fall in between. It was like an upside down.
That there was a Chinese buffet not too far from where I worked at the time in Ajax that did the same thing. $5 lunch menu. You go in, whatever you could fit inside that container.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, you learn really quickly, rookie moves, like you said, you avoid the rice either period or until the end. Like you don't,
top.
Yeah. Like don't put all the meat and everything in the bottom, all the big veg, whatever you want, get it all in there. Yeah. Amanda, we're tight. We're like two halves of a coin here of everything that I'm hearing.
Oh man, I can see why Anthony would be like, yeah, no, this person just showed that they listen well and that they're a problem solver. So there you go.
It was definitely like the weirdest in a good way job interview I've ever been to, because we basically didn't talk about writing. It was just like, he had gone to high school near where I grew up, and it was just talking about the neighborhood and how to go to the buffet. But I actually think that's really smart on his part, because he's got our writing samples, right? If he's calling us in for an interview, he already knows that we can write.
Yeah.
He's able to see what everybody's personality is this way and who will click with each other, because writers' rooms are a lot about chemistry and putting people together, not just to balance each other's skills, but also to balance their personalities. He was playing some 4D chess there.
No, that's smart. Yeah, getting the lay of the land of who the people I'm going to spend the next number of weeks with working.
Right.
That's smart. We got an email in from Blaine C, who says, for Amanda, go Jays.
Yes. Do you know, I have the MLB. I finally got the MLB calendar onto my iCalendar. But before that, I thought that you had to add them all manually. So I was like sitting there with the schedule and typing. Yeah, technology, right?
Technology, yes.
Could be good, could be bad, and you never know. In this case,
or it
really
could be good and you just don't know how to use it.
Story of a lot of our lives, Amanda. Story of a lot of our lives.
That's, I'd say, probably a good number of years of Geek Hard. It's been that story.
Yeah.
That sometimes you just don't know how to use stuff.
That's right, and again, proven tonight.
Yeah.
This is the way it goes.
I think it's more my building's internet, but that's
that's fair too. So Amanda, are you hopeful that the season's going to resume on time?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I would love to work with everybody again. I'd love to work with Anthony again. And sorry, you're talking about the
Jays. Yeah.
Jays.
I could see why.
It's a simple mistake, common mistake. There you go.
I know. I changed focus on us mid-interview here from the actual work you do. Back to the Blue Jays, but
usually seasons me something.
I know.
She definitely hopes that those seasons come back. Definitely.
Yeah, no.
Yes, both. To guess both. It's actually harder to follow baseball now for me, because what I used to do pre-pandemic is play. I mean, there were a couple groups of pickup softball that I had sort of wandered through, and there were a lot of gatherings to watch baseball together. And I find that now it's hard to find people that want to watch baseball with you, who are in your bubble, right?
This is true. Sports now, because of the pandemic, sports fans they've had it rough, not only because games and and the whole thing with how things were playing out, but also, as you said, one of the best parts about sports has always been like going to see a movie, for example, is that or going to the theater, is that community aspect of
the communal, totally.
Yeah.
What I love, my favorite part is right before the game starts, and they would put on the trailer, on the big billboard.
Right.
And it's all of the players who are playing that day, and they've got this epic music, and they've got them on animated backgrounds, and there's explosions and stuff, and everyone's just going crazy. and then they're like, "You're the Toronto Blue Jays," and they come out. That's like, because everyone's so excited. The game doesn't. We don't know who's going to win yet. There's so much hope, so much excitement for,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You're right, because at that point, everybody's a winner.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Right? Both teams have not lost. The fans have not lost because you don't know. Yeah, and besides that, who doesn't love a good cheesy trailer intro like that with some explosions and whatnot to get you amped up? Like, come on.
But I hate the ends. I hate the ends of the games when we're losing. Not just because we're losing, but you know how people leave when they're like, "Oh, we can't win." I just feel like if I was a player, I'd feel so bad. So I stay there right until the end because I just sympathize as an actor. Like if I was on stage and people got up and they're like, "Oh, this play's not going to get better," and they just left, I would be so crushed. So I'm like, I'm here for you guys. I'm still here.
Oh, man. I was a stage manager for a community theater play that exactly happened. People were like, this show's not getting any better. And they got to
Not fun. That is not
It was
fun.
not fun at the after party either. There was a lot of sad actors that night. So,
I mean, there's a lot of sad actors. So.
Yes, all the time. Yeah, totally. In general. Oh, man.
We are not a cheerful bunch.
Well, I hope that you stay cheerful when you can there, Amanda. And thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. And we look forward to more. And of course, whatever writer's room you're currently working on, we can't wait to see that show as well.
Yeah. I hope I can't say anything about it, but I hope that you enjoy it when it comes out.
Of course.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Have yourself a great night.
Thank you. Have a great night.